Broadcasting to you live from the Orion Spiral Arm of the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer California, Los Angeles, to be pseudo-specific. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. And you have found Strictly Football. Thank you for being here. We're going to break down week one and look ahead to week two. So let's get the show started right now.
Hi, this is Eric Metcalf, and you're watching Unhappy Hour.
New American Media is proud to present a division of the Unhappy Hour sports show, Strictly Football.
It's the Unhappy Hour.
Thank you all so much for being here. Welcoming into the program, Seahawk boy Mike B. Mike Bara. Cheers to you, sir. How are you today?
Pretty miserable. You know, it was a pretty miserable weekend. I lost all my bets and my Seahawks sucked. So what else can you do? But
well,
that,
you know,
it sucks.
The main thrust of today's program was going to be us discussing how both of our teams had tough losses. I mean, we were competitive, but we couldn't get it done. And in a 17-game season, every matchup is just absolutely crucial for playoff purposes. But we'll break it down as we go.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue the Seahawks were competitive. I wouldn't argue that. But yeah.
Would you have been more competitive with Geno Smith? We'll save the questions for when the topic comes up on that particular game. But let's welcome in Jim Mitchell. Jim, another Seahawks fan. Welcome to the show again. How you doing today, sir?
Good, Brian. My betting slip also sucked. You know, so Mike and I had a couple common picks, and it's probably my fault, but week one is week one. It is what it is. And it's like week one is like preseason 2, but you learn a lot from week one.
Yes, you do. And I think, even though the Browns lost, I think we saw some building blocks with Quinshon Judkins on the way, signing his deal now. Might play this week against the Ravens, so we shall see. We also made our predictions on the NFL Game Picker as well, but we'll get to that in a second because our fourth member is in the room, Ez'Ryel Robinson. Izzy, you missed our intro. You missed our show intro. You were in it.
Yeah, my bad. I had to help my dad with something before he left.
No worries, man. Welcome back. How was your week one? Izzy, by the way, joined us for our 8.5-hour live stream during Sunday's games while you guys were at the bar or doing whatever it is normal people do. I was broadcasting, I was streaming, and we were all just hanging out watching the Browns game together, and we hung out for the extra game as well. So it turned it into an 8.5 hour sitting around watching football, talking about football spectacular. Izzy did a great job.
Yep.
So what did you think about week one? Any clear takeaway for you, Izzy?
Slow week for some teams. I won't lie. I kind of felt bad. The Seahawks did lose. Unfortunately, I thought they were going to win that one. Tariq Woolen had I was watching that game. Tariq Woolen kind of sold on a lot of those. The Lions, without the offensive coordinators,
you called it.
Rough for them.
They look different.
What other games? The Browns, winnable. A lot of winnable games for certain teams, especially the Bears last night. I knew I had the Vikings, but they should have won that game. 21 points in the fourth quarter. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah. And J.J. McCarthy looked serviceable, surprisingly enough. People were shitting on him. And, hey, for week one, he ran it. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Maybe we should start with – what's that, Broncos?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, one more. The Broncos-Titans, people expected it to be a blowout. I thought it was going to be somewhat of a blowout, but super close. Mm-hmm. Cam Ward, he had a lot of great passes, and his receivers just –
Well, I can talk about receivers fumbling the bag literally for 2 interceptions worth, but maybe we should start, Mike Bara, with the Seattle Seahawks. Do you want to start with your division and your game? You got 2 Seahawks fans up there. We got to start somewhere. Might as well. I can pull up the game cast on the screen here while you talk.
Yeah, it just was it was just a miserable game all around. Ran the ball well early, then stopped running the ball. Zach Charbonnet ran the ball well, and then they started handing it to Ken Walker, and nothing happened when they did that. Didn't pass protect all that well. The only receiver I love our one wide receiver, no tight end offense that we ran. The tight ends were not involved. They drafted Elijah Arroyo in the second round, and literally, I don't even know if he played. I didn't see him out there.
They didn't even get him involved after putting him so high on your draft list.
Second round pick, and and so I have no idea what the offense was. Everybody last year was all over Ryan Grubb, the Seahawks offensive coordinator, who's now with Alabama, and how terrible he was. And one of those same guys was like, I didn't see any difference between Ryan Grubb and Clint Kubiak. Well, I didn't see any difference either, and so that tells you the common denominator is the players, because Sam Darnold and Geno Smith are kind of on the same level. I thought Sam had a much better season last season. So as I evaluate it, look, the problem is not the system. It's not necessarily the coaching staff. It's the players. And you got to start blaming the person who acquired the players, which is Pete Carroll, who's already paid his penance for that and gotten fired, and John Schneider, who needs to fucking go tomorrow. Because I'm going to be blunt, Brian. Literally, if I had been the general manager of the Seahawks for the last 4 years, we'd have a better team than we have right now. And that's ridiculous, because they're paying that guy $10 million a year to be smarter than I am. And he's not. So that's the problem. When you get to that point, again, if I was the owner, he would have been gone. And again, I'm going to go back to something my brother Dave Bara, Seahawk Boy Dave, says. Don't overreact to week one. Your team is never as good nor as bad as they look in week one. And that is true. But here's what it comes down to.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think we would all agree. Jim, you would say the same thing, right? Don't overreact. You're not as good as you on a victory, and you're not as crappy on a loss.
To me, what's really clear, though, Brian, with the Seahawks is that they have not a single elite player. Their best player is Jackson Smith-Njigba and Leonard Williams. And what they should seriously think about doing is just trading both of those guys for whatever they can get by the deadline, firing John Schneider, and starting from scratch. That's what they should do with Jalen Milroe as the quarterback, and you draft another guy behind him, because this is a mess, because they're not terrible, but they're also not good. And so we're just stuck in the middle. We have nobody to elevate us. And God, we really have to do something to change the equation, because you watch Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and the war of the worlds that they conducted. I mean, that was more exciting than the Federation versus the Romulans. That was unbelievable. Elite players doing
nerd alert.
Yeah, elite shit that only a few guys in the league could do. So just to evaluate the Seahawks, and then I'm going to drop the Seahawks for the most part. They just don't have anybody that's even within a light year of those guys on their team, no matter what the position is. So
yeah, we'll get to the Bills and the Ravens game. That was incredible. And some games you turn off early, and you're like, oh, I should have stuck around. And sometimes you get lucky and you do ride it out, and you get to watch something epic. And that's exactly what happened. I don't know if it was a collapse by the Ravens or a monstrous come from behind roaring effort by the Bills.
The last time I can remember a team being down 15 points with 5 minutes to play was the NFC Championship game, the Seahawks, Russell Wilson, and the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. That's the last time I can remember the team winning it. It was phenomenal. Just phenomenal by two phenomenal football players.
Oh, yeah. And I'll say that storyline reeks of, well, if it hasn't happened to the Browns yet, I'm sure it'll happen this season, because the Browns find ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory every season, it seems. By the way, Elijah Arroyo ended up getting, where'd it go? I had it pulled up. One target, one completion for 7 yards. That's the extent of it. Meanwhile, Harold Fannin Jr. he set a rookie tight end record for the Browns with 7 catches, I believe.
Yeah.
Tying Warren up there on the Colts.
Jim, I'm going to throw this to you, Jim, real quick. How do you have 2 interceptions, a blocked field goal, and lose? That's essentially 3 turnovers and a stop on a 4th down. That's essentially 4 turnovers. How do you have that and lose the game? Only the Seattle Seahawks could do it. And the other thing, last thing, Mike McDonald might be an okay coach. but it's really clear he's not any kind of genius. He's not Sean McVay. He's not the right coach for the future either. So
out of his depth, it seems.
I don't know about that, but
I don't have a Star Trek analogy to this, but the way you lose that game is you got one receiver, from Santa Clara in the end zone, and you got 3 defenders standing around him. 2 of them have their back to the quarterback, so they're not seeing where the ball's coming from, and he catches the ball. I mean, they triangulate this receiver in the end zone, the right part of the end zone.
On the ball. Yeah.
And they can't make it. 2 of them cannot make a play on the ball because they don't have eyes in the back of their helmet.
I know. I remember in 1995, I went to see the Seahawks play the Bills in Orchard Park, and 80% of the passes Jim Kelly completed. Basically, what he did is he threw the ball right at the back of the head of the Seahawks corner, and they never turned around once. They could have had 7 interceptions in that game. It's the same thing, and it's like that's just plain coaching. And if Woolen plays next week, it's insanity because Josh Jobe played a lot of the game, gave up 1 catch for 1 yard. He should be starting at the outside because, some guys just they have instincts, they make plays. Some guys don't, and our guys just don't. So you're right. Sorry, I'm going to shut up.
Izzy, what was your takeaway on that Niners Seattle debacle?
Yeah, just a lot of weird plays and just mediocrity, and also Tariq Woolen. I watched most of the game. One play, 30-yard pass to Ricky Pearsall on the sideline. He does a little stutter step. I did that in high school like one time, and I never did it again. Looking for the interception, looks back at the ball. He thinks that if he slows down a bit, the ball's going to come to him. Doesn't happen. It gets placed right where it's supposed to be. Ricky Pearsall catches it. Yeah. Go for the breakup or just keep running with the guy. And then also in the back of the end zone to the tight end. First catch ever, if I'm right. The tight end in the back of the end zone. It was like a weird. He was chasing him around, but I mean, like he's 6'4" with a huge wingspan. How is he not breaking that ball up or catching it at least? Just 2 mistakes by him. And then just could have seen more on offense. Is Ken Walker's contract year, and he got outshined by Zach Charbonnet and Jackson Smith-Njigba. He ran most of the routes, and he had 60% of the targets. Like he had 100 yards off of Sam Darnold's 140 or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, and I'll add a bit of a concerning part as well on the 49ers side, especially for fantasy. George Kittle appears to be injured and maybe going on the IR for maybe 4 weeks. We'll see how that plays out. That'll impact a lot of people moving forward. Jim.
Yeah, to tack on what Izzy said, I mean, Pearsall, hell of a catch, for a guy that took a gunshot wound to the chest last year. I mean, what a catch. And Jackson Smith-Njigba, he had nine receptions for 124 yards, and that one catch he made on the left sideline.
Yeah,
and I think he was in double coverage. I mean, that was the best catch of the game.
Yeah,
but the tail of that game was one of the last plays of the game where they, the defenders, just allowed San Francisco to go ahead and catch that ball in the end zone.
Yep.
And Purdy wasn't playing that great either.
That's the thing. They're elite They have elite players. They have 3 elite players. They have Christian McCaffrey, who played elite, didn't score a touchdown, but he played elite. They have Bosa, who's an elite player. Fred Ward is an elite player. Maybe they have one more. And Kittle is an elite player. Before Kittle went out, he made a big play on a scoring drive. Here's the reality. I think he scored a touchdown. Here's the reality. Their elite players made plays. Ours didn't because we don't have any. So that's what happened. Except JSN is probably a
Bosa's the one. Bosa's the one that stripped Darnold of the football, the last play of the game.
Well, actually, it was more.
That one, it just slipped out of his hands. I thought it was.
It was actually the right tackle, Abe Lucas's butt, that knocked it out of his hand.
So. Ricky Pearsall, 4 receptions, 108 yards with that long target of 45, of course. What did you take away from Sam Darnold? He was 16 of 23, 150 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, very pedestrian.
Their whole thing this year supposedly is they're going to run the ball. And you know how many play action passes they called in that game?
Mm.
One. You know what it was? It was the first play of the game. So I don't understand what the offensive coordinator was doing. I don't understand why he called the game the way he called it. There's so many things I don't understand about the game, because although they don't have a lot of talent, they looked more efficient than this in the preseason. You would have thought there, it's weird. There were these trick plays, and just get back to the basics, right? Just block the guy who's right in front of you. Go with a conservative passing offense. Get it to the tight ends. I don't know what they're doing. And it's just, I don't think it's going to get a whole lot better next week, but we'll see.
We will see. Let's bounce to another game here. Let's take a look at the one that I was watching. Oh, you know which one it was. Cleveland Browns. Go ahead and dump this game. There was a quote that my college roommate sent me. He reminded me of when one of the best return men to ever play the game. You saw Eric Metcalf on the intro, but another Browns legend, Josh Cribbs, one of the best kickoff people and punt return people of all time. He had a quote from about 15 years ago, and he said, well, today the Browns played the Browns, and the Browns lost. And that is exactly what we have to look at in this game. We had this game in the bag, a tough divisional opponent. Joe Burrow has had the Bengals in the Super Bowl. They've had them in AFC Championship. Like the Bengals have been solid, but we've played them tough. We played them tough again this time, but our new kicker, piece of Schmidt, he missed the extra point. He missed a chip shot field goal. And we should have had this game won on a couple of occasions. Also, a super major play. The Browns had 3 sacks in a row, drove the Bengals backward into their own end zone. Miles had 2.5 sacks, I believe, on that series alone. Burrow was ready to go down for a safety, and he jumped and lunged out of the end zone while going down to get out to the 2-3 yard line and avoid the 2 points. It's a game we lost by 1. So there's a lot of key plays in this game. Mike, what did you think about this Browns mess?
Well, I didn't watch a whole lot of it. I did see some of the Keystone Cop kind of plays that kind of go back to discipline and coaching that I thought were a little bit crazy. I remember Dennis Green, and when I moved to Minnesota, he was the coach of the Vikings, and they eventually fired him because all he did was get to the playoffs every year, right? And
why would you want that?
And he ended up in Arizona, but before that, he was on ESPN, and he said the first 2 things you have to do when you start, take over a team is you got to get your quarterback and you got to get your kicker, because those 2 things will cost you more than anything else. So, of course, when he went to the Cardinals, first thing he did was draft a wide receiver instead of Phillip Rivers or Ben Roethlisberger. But that's another point. But I always thought that was a brilliant observation, and it was dead right. And if you don't have a kicker, he's going to lose you a lot of games. And it really comes down to that. I mean, the Bengals aren't that great. You guys have a really good defense, but in the end, just simple execution of special teams cost you the game, and that sucks.
Yeah, and our defense played fantastic in the second half. That's for sure. Izzy, what did you think watching this? You were with us live. We were doing that 8.5 hour mega live stream. That was a lot of fun. It was like we were all sitting in an extended living room, just watching the games, and he would chime in with scoring updates, and William would jump in with fantasy points, and then I'd do the play-by-play. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But what did you take away from that?
Yeah, the Browns defense did really good. I mean, to limit Joe Burrow in the passing game, 14 for 23. That's like almost that's a little over like 60% of its passes. 5 yards per average, 1 touchdown, 51 QBR, and then 21 carries for 43 yards from Chase Brown. It's 2 yards per carry.
And he got all those on
the defense
drive,
really
by
good.
the way. That first drive, they kind of marched right down and put it in. You're like, oh, this is going to be a long day. But that's really all they did the whole game.
Yeah. And the defense did really awesome. It's just malpractice by the wide receivers for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, like Jerry Jeudy and a couple other guys out here dropping balls that should be caught. And the running game kind of struggled too. Dylan Sampson, 2 carries for 30 yards, 2.4 average. I mean, when can you get Quinshon Judkins out there? I know he do a lot better than that. He's bigger back than Sampson and a little bit better. But Sampson did have 8 catches for 64 yards. just the Browns are beating themselves up. Kicker should have made some kicks. The defense was there, and just receivers needing to catch balls. Joe Flacco needs it. I mean, if you look at if you're a box score watcher, it's 1 TD to 2 interceptions. If you saw some highlights from the game, those 2 interceptions were off drop passes or tip balls.
Right in the hands of Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, and they lifted them up for easy pop-up interceptions. You said malpractice. That's a good way to say it. Also, advanced analytics. Quincy Carrier, one of the biggest Browns fans you'll ever find. He watched the what do they call it? All 22. Is that the name of it? All 22, where they break down all the plays. And he said Joe Flacco played a great game. Not just he played well or it was pretty good. He said he played great. And he was let down from special. It reminds me of Baker Mayfield, getting let down by special teams, getting let down by defense. In this case, it was getting let down by the receivers. Also, the advanced analytics on Dylan Sampson. He had those, what'd you say was 6 catches for 64 yards?
Yeah, 8 catches for 64
But the other
yards.
thing about the advanced analytics on that is that when he was catching those balls, he was behind the line of scrimmage a lot of times. So the actual yards gained were about 30 or 40 more yards on top of that. He's going to be a real weapon for this team. And also, I just want to highlight Harold Fannin Jr. He was a third round pick for the Browns out of Bowling Green, and he had 7 receptions, 63 yards. I mean, don't look now, but like they're going to actually feed this guy and make him a monster. He even caught a direct snap in a Wildcat offensive lineup for them. So, Jim, what did you take away from the Bengals and the Browns? Did the Bengals get the win, or did the Browns do the Brownsy thing and find a way to lose?
I think a little of both. I think my biggest takeaway now in the last 21 years, you're not going to want to hear this, but the Browns are now 2-18-1 straight up in week 1. So if you like betting money lines, I mean, bet against the Browns week 1.
Yeah, what did Wesley Snipes say in that movie? Never bet on Brown, or something like that. Never bet on Brown. Yeah, it was brutal, and we'll see how the rest of the season shakes out. I don't think we're going to be the worst team in the league. I think we could have won this, and we'd be having a totally different vibe right now if we knocked off the Bengals, sitting at 1-0. It was a 1-point loss, and it was hard fought. So I don't know, a couple of building blocks for next week for sure. But God, I just wish I wish the sun would shine on us for once. It just never seems like we're in the good graces of the good Lord when it comes to the football gods out there. All right, let's take a look at Buccaneers Falcons. This one, here's another one that came down to the kicker. Mike, how much did you pay attention to the Falcons and the Buccaneers?
Well, again, I was watching that game out of the corner of my eye. I had a quad box going on NFL Sunday Ticket because I was curious about Baker versus Michael Penix, and I thought Michael Penix looked every bit the quarterback I thought he was coming out of college. Guy I wanted the Seahawks to trade up and get. I mean, looking at the Seahawks picks in 2024, they had enough juice to go get the 7th overall pick, and I think the Titans, there was rumors the Titans were willing to trade out. In retrospect, absolutely should have done it. The guy's phenomenal talent, scored the go-ahead touchdown. Defense let him down. And giving up that play. Now, that's not to say Emeka Egbuka is not a really good receiver. I liked him. I wanted him. I thought he was a great player in college. The kind of guy that you really want on the outside for a team like my Seahawks. Made the big play. Baker hung in there. Baker Mayfield's competitive. He's a winner. That's all you can say about it. Tight game, 2 pretty good teams. I think one of those 2 teams is going to win the division. I still like the Falcons to win the division, but it's going to be ultra competitive.
Absolutely. Jim, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Egbuka was he was the star of the show. I mean, he only had 4 receptions, 2 of which were touchdowns.
Yeah, 50% conversion rate is a touchdown. I'll take that.
And 2 of them are touchdowns. You can't ask much more from somebody. But I had the Bucs in this game straight up. But
I did too. And Baker Mayfield is kind of. Sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
Yeah, like Mike said, this is probably a corner game. Mike had his fourplex up. Watching 2 TVs, and It was probably the small game in the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah, and I had the red zone on the other little TV, so I had as many as 8 games going at once, which was.
And by the way, sorry about that, Jim. I think we actually have like maybe a 1 or 2 second delay on your feed. So sorry about talking over you there for a second. Ez'Ryel, yes, it was a corner game TV. But look, the Falcons and the Buccaneers have battled the last 2 seasons for control of that division. Yes, it's a mid division. Yes, you have the Panthers in there and the Saints in there, or the Aints in there. But it's going to come down to Falcons, Buccaneers, and this one was huge for potential playoff seeding. What were your takeaways from this game?
I watched a bit of it. Baker Mayfield, he had an all right game. I think I mentioned to you that day, he had a couple passes that should have been picked off. Man, he got bailed out a lot by the corners and them dropping the passes. But besides that, the Buccaneers offense, it seems like Egbuka is going to be one of the biggest targets next to Mike Evans. Mike Evans had a little bit of a low game, but Egbuka seems like he's going to be able to make the big plays. Atlanta, their offense look awesome. They look how they're probably going to look for the rest of the year. They're finding a way to get Kyle Pitts involved. He had 7 catches for 60 yards. Drake London, he had a little bit of a lower game, 8 catches for 55, but he had 15 targets.
Wow, 15 targets.
What was going on there? Yeah, only got 8 catches out of it. And the Atlanta defense, they look pretty good. They were causing a lot of pressure for Baker Mayfield. He scrambled a lot. It's a winnable game for either team. It's really a toss-up game, and that's what it was. It came down to a field goal.
It did. And by the way, Bijan Robinson, not much on the ground. 12 carries, 24 yards. That's a 2-yard average. They only put up 69 yards rushing on the day, but Bijan really crushed in the receiving game. 6 receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown with a long of 50. I just want to point out that, Baker Mayfield, I think, has suffered from the same thing LeBron James has suffered from. Just the haters want to use weird stats and push bad narratives. You can dislike the guy personally. You can dislike the guy's game, but you can't invent a new reality. I used to hear that LeBron James wasn't clutch. Baker Mayfield isn't clutch. He can't win you any games. This is now the 11th come-from-behind victory for Baker Mayfield, who got the come-from-behind touchdown to Emeka Egbuka. And, of course, the Falcons had their chance for their field goal to maybe win the game, but they did, or at least tie the game, send it into extras, and they missed. But, Baker Mayfield, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, not a lot of yards on the day, but it's a tough divisional game, and they got it done. I'm impressed. So go Bucks, go Baker. As you saw in my intro, I'm a not-so-shy Baker Mayfield fan. All right, let's talk about Dolphins and Colts. Yeah, that one. Who had 33 points on the Colts on your bingo board? Danny Dimes, 22 of 29. You did?
Yeah, Izzy had the Colts. You were dead on. They killed him, and it was an impressive performance. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say. Izzy, take it.
Yeah, I kind of expected it. Not that much of a blowout. I could say the score has to do a lot with Mike McDaniel and how much of a
retard,
unsuccessful coach he's going to be. Yeah, Mike, he said
line up the first coach to get fired.
He said it that he's going to be on the hot seat.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, he's going to be. Yeah, he most likely will be the first coach fired this year. I was right about the Colts. Jonathan Taylor had 18 carries for 71 yards, 22 for 29, 272, and a touchdown for Daniel Jones. Say once we get to the Giants game, I told you guys the offensive line for the New York Giants, if you ever watched the game, is really atrocious. And now he gets a decent O-line. I'd say probably top 15 O-line in the league, and he can stand in the pocket and deliver the ball where it needs to. He made some throws that you've never seen him make with the Giants. Good running back there. The defense played good. So, I expected it. He has the talent surrounded around him, and he delivered, especially the whole team, for it to be a blowout. But yeah, the Dolphins could have done more, but it's just horrible coaching. Yeah,
2 interceptions on the day for Tua. I was just going to say that Tyler Warren, like I said, with Harold Fannin, they're setting rookie marks. 7 touchdowns for your first game as a tight end. Those are both rookie records shared by Warren and for Harold Fannin. So, we're starting to see the end of the Kelsey era. We're starting to see some of the aging out of the standard bearers, the best in the league, and, some nice young talent coming in, a youthful resurgence, if you will, at the position. Jim, what did you take away from this?
Well, Tua wasn't great. I mean, he was 14 for 23 at 114 yards all day. And he also had 2 interceptions. Just to take away from the Colts scoring 33, I mean, historically, teams that win the first game of the season by 21 or more points, they're 12-21 against the spread the next week. So a lot of people, not so much talking about this game, but a lot of people take into account when betting football. In week 1, there are a lot of recency bias, I guess I can say, because week 2, you expect these teams to carry on and play the way that they played in week 1, and that's not always the case. And more often than not, it's not the case. So I wouldn't take too much stock in this game as far as the Colts trouncing the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to play much better in week 2, and I don't think the Colts are going to be as impressive as they were against the Dolphins. And in fact, I think the Dolphins have a division game this week. So that's my takeaway from and that's the only thing I'm looking at in this game as far as being able to bet this week.
Gotcha.
But there's a lot of indicators that it's not going to look the same.
And Michael Pittman at receiver got the touchdown over there. 2 touchdowns from Danny Dimes rushing. So, for fantasy outlook, might be some decent players to put on your bench and see if they can continue it into the rest of the season. There's a lot of rumblings in Miami about just getting rid of the coach, getting rid of the just really cleaning house. I don't know how that's going to shake out, but it's definitely you can feel the heat. You can feel that the stove is heating up a little bit. It's a lot of it hinges on the health of Tua, but like you said, see if they can bounce back next week. Las Vegas Raiders, this was your backyard, fellas. Las Vegas Raiders, a quarterback you're very familiar with. What did you take away from your old pal, Gino?
Well, Pete Carroll's my pal, not Gino.
Oh, I'm sorry, your buddy Pete.
I hate you. No, I don't hate you.
All right, Pete and Repeat were sitting on a fence. Pete fell off.
Same old. They beat a very bad team on the road at 10 a.m. Pete's very good about getting West Coast teams prepared for 10 a.m. games. Good for them. Gino was Gino. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's Mr. 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. The interception was terrible. He threw it into bracketed triple coverage. That's what Gino's going to do from time to time. Played well otherwise. Again, a lot of 8, 9, 10-yard completions turned into 25, 30, 40-yard gains by his receivers running after the catch. Raiders have a good, solid defense. Genty struggled a little bit, but he scored a touchdown. I don't know what to make of either team at this point, except that the Patriots really aren't very good. So they're really not very good. And I don't know what they're in year 3 or 4 of their rebuild, second year with Drake May, and they just don't look very good. So what can you say about it?
Yeah, I was a little surprised the Raiders won, but they did get it done. Izzy, your buddy Brock Bowers. You're a super Brock Bowers fan. You're going to be wearing a jersey. You'll have a tattoo before we know it.
He had a huge catch. He had one huge run and catch and run. It was
one thing. Marion Cook's in the chat. She said howdy, or Marion said howdy.
Yeah. She said she has Baker in her fantasy draft and rooting for him like I am. Good for her.
Yeah, that game. I don't watch a lot of it, but I mean, like if they don't have Gino at quarterback, they should prance on that defense. I mean, like no Christian Gonzalez. Their receiver should have done a lot better. I don't know how much of it was coaching or not. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a pretty mediocre game. Drake May could have done more. That offensive line, they're gonna have another off year for the Patriots. Yeah, Genty could have done 100% more. Genty could have done more. Brock Bowers, I heard he got injured a bit. It was like a MCL, like a little thing that happened, something within his knee. They gotta look at it.
Whose knee got dinged up? Bowers?
Brock Bowers. Yeah, so I don't know how that's gonna work. Some tight ends are getting injured this week, but yeah, I mean, like the one of the best corners in the league is out. They could attack the passing game more, but Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, like he said, 1-1. I don't know how far that's gonna get them this year if they're trying to win games, what they're trying to do for next year. But yeah, pretty mediocre game at that. I'll put it there.
Yeah, Geno ended up with 362 yards on the day.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, passing yards. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, he was right at the top of the leaders in passing yardage. I mean, Joe Flacco had 290. He's got 2 unfortunate interceptions, but that wasn't Joe Flacco's fault.
Yeah.
And by the way, gentlemen, quick show of hands if you agree. It's time to separate the interception statistic into something the quarterback's responsible for or something else. Anyone else agree with me on that? Is that a little too much? Is that a little too subjective?
I think tip balls should not count as interceptions, or they should be tip ball interceptions. In other words, you should make we make non-qualitative value judgments on stuff in football all the time. Was that unnecessary roughness? Was that pass interference? Was that really defensive holding worth calling in the Super Bowl with the game on the line? So I don't think tip balls that are not clearly the quarterback's fault, like he throws the ball way behind a guy that hits him on the helmet, or he throws the ball to a guy who's, I don't think they should count as interceptions. But most of the time, guys who have a lot of balls like that throw interceptions, a lot of interceptions.
Jim, what's your takeaway in your backyard? Raiders.
Well, I thought Geno had a good game. I mean, it's like you said. I mean, you're right. He had 362 yards in the game. I don't think the score actually reflected. I think the Raiders outplayed the Patriots. Although Drake May, I mean, he was 30 for 46 passing. I mean, that's a lot of passing. So it makes you think. I mean, does the Patriots need a better run game? Well, he had May had 287 yards of offense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's the kitty.
Nimbus making his appearance.
It was a low scoring game.
Mike, you have a cat, right? Is it Muffy or is that your dog? Muffy, Miss Muffy?
No, Miss Fluffy Muffy, yeah.
What is her name?
Mike has too many cats.
Yeah, I have one.
But what's it, Miss Muffy? What?
Miss Fluffy Muffy. Why are we
Fluffy
talking
Muffy.
about this on a football show?
Because my cat jumped up and we talked about it.
Fluffy Muffy.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. You were talking about the running game, and look, Travion Henderson had 5.4 yards per rush, but they only gave him 5 carries on the day. I don't understand why you wouldn't try to get that game going in a 20-13 barn burner. I don't understand it. Travion Henderson is a bell cow back. I think some of that's got to be on the offensive coordinator and the head coach for not making that happen. Travion Henderson also had 6 receptions for 24 yards. He's a home run hitter. So I just think you got to get the ball into the hands of the players that have the highest likelihood of making something happen with it. And I'll blame the coaching staff for the Patriots sort of fumbling the bag on that one for sure. Let's go over to the next game. Cardinals Saints. Cardinals win this 20-13 over the Saints, who put up a little bit more of a fight than I thought was going to happen. Mike?
Yeah, I concur. Again, it was a week 1 game. Should have been a blowout. Really wasn't. It's really interesting. My brother had a really interesting thing on Kyle Murray, and he said, somebody said, Kyler Murray did something really special there. My brother goes, you know what? Kyler Murray is unique. He's not special. There's a difference. And I agree with that. I think that's what we saw. But they were good enough to win. I expected them to win. I was betting for him, rooting for him because I bet him. That game was surprisingly close, which I think is a tribute to Spencer Rattler. So I'm going to take a little bit to heart on that one because I think Spencer has been really unfairly maligned. I mean, the number of people who are ready to give up on a quarterback after 5 starts or 10 starts or 20 starts is unbelievable to me. I mean, you look at Kyler. Kyler's in his 7th year. He's got to have close to 100 starts now. You can make a judgment on him. How do you make a judgment? People are just ripping on me about Spencer Rattler. How do you make a judgment after 5 or 6 starts? Will Levis, his stats, basically, interceptions, completion percentage, turnovers, all that stuff, yards, touchdowns, it's basically the same as Peyton Manning after 20 starts, Drew Brees after 20 starts, Josh Allen after. These guys are going to the Hall of Fame if they're not in the Hall of Fame already. I don't, you rush to judgment on quarterbacks way, way too quickly. And, I think we know what Kyler is, and it was good enough to win this game. Good for them. But the Saints made it a dogfight, which I thought was fun for them. I like still be terrible, but they're not going to be as terrible as we thought they were.
You might be right about that. Talking about Kyler Murray, I did have him as one of the quarterbacks to watch for fantasy last week. And, he gave you 2 touchdowns, only 163 yards, no interceptions, a quarterback rating of about 109. It was solid. Not spectacular, but it was okay. Izzy, what did you take away from this one? What made the difference?
Yeah, I was on Red Zone. I tuned into the game towards the end. I saw Juwan Johnson. He had a pretty good game. I knew he led the tight ends in fantasy points this week. But besides that, Spencer Rattler, I mean, he looked decent. The Cardinals should have done more, especially against the Saints. I mean, they are on the lower end of mediocre team, but I don't have the stats pulled up. I really can't look at it right now.
I got him on the screen.
Towards the end, there was passes. I mean, it's kind of small for me, but James Conner, his starting position might get taken. Trey Benson, 8 carries, 69 yards. Conner had 12 for 39. I mean, that's a huge difference. Kyle Murray, 21 for 29, 163, 2 tutties. That's not that bad. But yeah, just a weird game. It's week 1. I feel like the Cardinals should have done a lot more against the Saints, but like Mike said, the Saints are still going to be bad. It's just they're not going to be as bad as we thought they were going to be. I'll put it that way.
And that would be okay with me since I went ahead and drafted Alvin Kamara. Also on the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. did get the touchdown for them in the air, along with James Conner with another one. So if you're keeping track of who's putting up the points this year, Jim, thoughts on this one?
This is one of the common games that Mike and I had both on both of our betting tickets. We both had the Cardinals on the money line, which they easily won the game. But even if you had the number was 6.5. You still won the number by half a point. The number on it was 6.5, and the final score was 2013. Not for nothing, but Kyler Murray is an outstanding road quarterback. I mean, as far as the betting goes, he's now 22-9 against the spread on the road.
Yeah, that's one thing I forgot to say last week.
That's
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's one thing I forgot to say last week. He does seem to play really well on the road. Early in the season, he plays real well.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's go ahead.
Yeah, especially in dome stadiums, on artificial turf.
And the Eastern time zone, it seems like matters to him too. I don't know what it is. Biorhythms, I guess, right?
Yeah, there's so many splits here we can talk about. So many data points and analytics. Hey, look at this. Aaron Rodgers, old man Rodgers, 4 touchdowns on the day. This is a game that New York Jets had. They had the game, but in the fourth quarter, Pittsburgh scores 17 compared to the New York Jets 6. That's an 11-point plus, and they end up getting a 2-point win in this one. Pittsburgh somehow gets another win, starting off 1-0 on the season. Let's go to Mike.
Well, I get to start every time. Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll start with you. We'll go to Izzy. We'll go to Jim. I'm settled on the rotation.
All right. Don't tell me Aaron Rodgers is done, because he's not.
Thank you.
He can play beyond this year. He's not. Doesn't have the quick feet that he used to. Can't make as many plays with his legs, but he can still sling that ball. Maybe not with quite the velocity he could 5 years ago, but it comes out of his hand pretty quick. He made all the plays he had to make. It was a big revenge game for him. Justin Fields, I thought, looked really good. Last week I said he has no feel for the passing game. He showed a pretty good feel for it in this game.
Yeah.
But I think the takeaway for me as a Seahawks fan, since we're playing the Steelers next week on the road, is how terrible the Steelers defense is and looked. And I got to think, if the Seahawks have any chance of winning a game here early in the season, it's going to be this one. Just because the Steelers defense, especially their secondary, was just awful. And they lost 2 starters too. I think are going to miss next week's game. So, other than that, I just, this game cost me my parlay this week by 1 point. And again, they were up 5 with about 5 or 6 minutes to play. And all they had to do was hold the line, get a stop, the Steelers, and they just couldn't do it. So their defense just really is a huge problem. But you got to give them some credit. What they put up? What was it?
Oh, sorry, that box came up on the screen. There we go.
They got 34 points. I mean, against any team in the NFL, that's not bad. So we'll see what happens with this.
Let me ask a follow-up on, you said what stood out is how terrible the Schittsburg defense was.
Yeah.
I've heard people saying that, but what do you see that gives you the understanding that it was a shitty defensive performance compared to the Jets looked pretty good. The Jets
the Jets did look pretty good. Aaron Glenn coached them very well. Justin Fields played very I don't know how to describe it. No, I don't want to say efficiently, because he makes great plays with his legs, and he made some really good plays with his arm. Justin Fields played mistake-free football for the most part, and got the job done when he needed to. He threw the ball downfield. I just don't think I think the problem with the Steelers defense is they can't cover guys at all, and they can't run, and they can't tackle. That's also a problem.
Just that.
Other than that, I think they're great. So,
other than that, they're fantastic.
We'll find out. We're gonna find out, is the Jets offense really that good, or is the Steelers defense really that bad? And I just think their biggest problem was they couldn't cover guys downfield, and they weren't very good at stopping the run either. And get all credit to the Jets for dialing up some very imaginative Justin Fields runs. They used them the right way.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Buckeyes wherever they play. Izzy, what was your takeaway? What did you doggone Steelers, man? What did you think?
Yeah, it was a really good game. Like he said, Justin Fields, just like good quarterback play. It could be the system or it could be him. But he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Brees Hall had 107 yards. I mean, like, how much is it the Steelers defense? I mean, they had Jalen Ramsey out there. I think Joey Porter Jr. did get hurt a little bit. But, yeah, Aaron Rodgers can still throw it. And I think eventually we'll get to the Vikings game. But, man, the Vikings, they could have used Aaron Rodgers last night. Imagine what he'd do with that offense. I'm not saying J.J. McCarthy had that much of a bad game, but he had a mediocre game until the fourth quarter. But yeah, I mean, he still got it. Like quarterbacks like that just have been pocket passers their whole career. They're really never going to lose their touch. So the running game could be fixed a little bit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They should get Caleb Johnson in a little more. Mix it up with him and Jalen Warren. But besides that, yeah, Garrett Wilson, 7 catches, 95 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Glenn, I mean, he had a great coaching game, but I just kind of don't see how they lose that game toward the end. Like,
I mean, they had it in their hands and they let it slip away
as well.
But when you have an MVP, a Super Bowl winning quarterback on your team, like you tend that puts the finger onto the scales a little bit and it tips it when things get crucial toward the ends of games. Jim, what did you take away from this one? Aaron Rodgers getting this win.
Well, this is a relatively a high-scoring game. I mean, the over/under on this game was 38.5, and they more than I mean the total ended up being 66. I mean that's just a blowout as far as betting over/unders. And this is what I spoke about with the Miami Colt game. This is a prime example of not getting enamored with either one of these teams. As far as week 2. Yeah, they put up a lot of points against each other, but I wouldn't fall in love with either one of these teams. The Jets are now 3-10 the first 2 weeks of the season straight up, and they just found a way to lose the game. I thought the way the Jets were playing, I thought they should have won the game.
I thought they had it in the bag. I was surprised.
But
it turned out
that's why they play 4 quarters. 60 minutes.
Exactly. By the way, if you're keeping track for fantasy, Garrett Wilson had 7 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown receiving. Buckeye alum there for the Jets. Braylon Allen, he sniped a touchdown away from the Breece Hall owners. He got the rushing touchdown for them. And, of course, the distribution for the touchdown passes for the Steelers, one to Jonnu Smith, who, by the way, he's on the Steelers now. I kind of forgot that. Jaylen Warren, a receiving touchdown. Ben Skronik, 1 touchdown receiving, and Calvin Austin III had 70 yards on the day and a touchdown. So players to keep your eye on for next week. All right, let's look at Giants and Commanders. Commanders get this one 21-6. Hey, it's Russell Wilson. You know Russell Wilson. That's your buddy, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm wearing his shirt. Yeah. We knew that the Redskins were the better team. We knew they were going to win. The game went about like I thought. I was hoping the Giants do a little better. I'm not going to apologize for Russ. They only scored 6 points, but the bottom line is I didn't see any missed opportunities. I did watch this game out of the corner of my eye. I watched quite a few plays, especially when the Giants had the ball. I didn't see any open guys that were getting missed. I didn't see much in the way of blocking, especially on third and, obvious passing situations, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. I didn't think the blocking was very good, and they had 0 running game for the most part. So, Malik Neighbors had 5 catches for 71 yards. You got to spread it around. Who do you spread it around to? Didn't seem like anybody was open. So it was just a game where I thought the Redskins defense just smothered the Giants offense. There was just nowhere to go with the ball, and they wouldn't let you run on them. Bobby Wagner doing a great job stopping the run in the middle. He can still do that. So, better team won, period. And we'll see how it all plays out. I was kind of thinking New York might show a little more than that. But
yeah, might be a long season over there in New York with, you said you didn't miss any opportunities, didn't leave much on the field. I mean,
I just didn't see anything that they didn't get. It's not like, oh, wow, that guy was wide open. Nope, I didn't see that. So I just saw – it was kind of like the 49ers game. Everywhere I looked for a Seahawks receiver, when I looked downfield, I saw a 49er on him. No, not fooling anybody. So I kind of wonder if it was the same kind of thing there. Just really well scouted and really well played by the Commanders.
Yes, and look, the Redskins are starting off where they kind of left off last year. Surprising knockout. They knocked out the Lions last year, right? Am I remembering this right? In the playoffs, I think so. But yeah, I mean, look, they're taking care of business the way they're supposed to. Izzy, thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I watched a bit more of this game, but like I said, that Dable, he needs to drop some better plays. I mean, 25 QBR from Russell Wilson. I could say a lot of that is due to the O-line. I keep saying it over and over again. The Giants O-line is atrocious. Every play he was dropping, looking, trying to make a play, but he's on the smaller end of quarterbacks and looking one way or another. There's just 6'5" guys piling up around him because the pass rush is getting there. I mean, Malik Neighbors had 5 catches and 71 yards off of 12 targets. I mean, that's a lot of missed plays right there for Malik Neighbors. But at the same time, the Washington Redskins defense is really, really good. Their offense, a lot of people thought Deebo Samuel lost a step. I was one of those people. He had a phenomenal game, really great game. Jaden Daniels had a great game. The the Giants they're going to be bad for a while until they get the coaching situation settled and the offensive line situation settled. But as far as that, yeah, they're going to be one of the worst teams in football. And the Commanders, they're going to look as good as they did last year. No step backs from them.
Exactly. It's just a matter of how much further can they advance this season. Jim, not surprising.
Yeah, I'll own this game. I mean, I've got to say this was probably one of my best picks of the week, and I had the Giants. This was another team that killed my parlay along with the Steeler game. Mike talked me into the Steeler game, and we lost that game by 1 point.
I'm sorry.
Which essentially cost Mike about $230 at one point. So they kept him cashing his ticket, and it kept him.
Could have used that money for the alien event Las Vegas coming up. But
he had a $35 hedge, against the Broncos, and because he took the Broncos on the money line, and all it would have cost him to get all his money back was $35. I mean, that was a hell of a deal, but the Steelers took care of that.
Okay,
but the Giants Redskins, the last 10 meetings between these two, I think there was only one other game that was decided by more than 6 points, and generally the Giants and the Redskins they play each other tight. In the last 10 meetings, that was another reason I like the 6.5 on this. And you can't blame Daboll, for I think Russ just had a bad game. I mean, he didn't play well at all. And I wouldn't blame Daboll on Russ's ineptitude.
I agree, Jim, but I didn't see anything that he could have done that he didn't do. That's the only thing I'm saying. What was he supposed to do? Throw to who? There was nobody open. Run the ball. Well, he could have scrambled, I guess, but he scrambled once and got hit and fumbled and was lucky to get the ball back. So
he doesn't have the same. He doesn't have the same wheels that he used to have.
What I saw,
I just didn't see what he could have done.
He was running for his life, from what I saw. And
so I mean, I just think the Giants are just not very good.
It was just a bad.
By the way,
it's just a bad game.
By the way, some pseudo breaking news: Jalen Carter's been fined $57,000 for spitting on Dak Prescott. Anybody have a thought on that one? He will be eligible to play against the Chiefs this week, but then the promo showed that Dak spit first in his direction, and he
did we cover the Cowboys game and the Eagles game or not?
We did on Thursday or Friday or however we did that. Pretty sure we did.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a Cowboys fan. He wants to talk about the Cowboys. But
yeah,
dude, I'm sorry. I think he's spitting up a guy's face. You ought to be suspended.
Yeah. Yeah. The angle of Dak Prescott spitting at him, he was like 8-10 yards away from him. And then they kind of got a bit closer, and then Jalen Carter just spit on the guy. I mean, like,
if he can spit that far, he ought to be in a spitting competition.
Yeah, and supposedly that the NFL, they said he served his 1-game suspension that game against the Cowboys, which is I don't see that. But yeah, you got the Cowboys game up. Yeah, well, for me as a Cowboys fan, I'll get this done. I'm not disappointed at all. We went toe to toe with the defending champions. A bit more of a modern offense finally with Brian Schottenheimer. Our offense looked great. CeeDee Lamb had a good game, a pretty great game. He had 100-something receiving yards, and just the game in the hands. You got to catch big plays. You got to be that person that you get paid the big bucks to be, regardless of how good the game you had. Javonte Williams had a great game, 15 carries, 50 yards, 2 touchdowns. The O-line was pushing him a lot. Our O-line looked way better. Dak Prescott was moving a little bit in the pocket, but, I mean, they're young. They can learn together. Really young O-line. And, the Eagles, they look decent as well. I saw a lot of memes of Jalen Hurts. They were saying that Jalen Hurts is what the media portrays Lamar Jackson to be. He could have made some passes down the field, but he just decided to run it with himself. 14 carries, 62 yards. I mean, respectively. I mean, it won him the game, so it's not that bad. Our run defense looked a lot better. Saquon Barkley, 18 carries, 60 yards. I mean, that's great for a guy coming off a 2,000-yard season. But I'm not mad at all. If this is what we're doing against the Philadelphia Eagles, then we're gonna win a lot of games this year. It just depends on how we're gonna do in the playoffs. And then another thing also, the pass rush was almost non-existent a little bit. Our second round pick, I thought he was gonna do great. I mean, like the Eagles tackles, they're great and good, but I mean, he was getting each time I look, Jalen Hurts would drop back as Ez'Ryel, he's twisting and turning, falling over, and a whole bunch of nonsense. So, but yeah, I'm not mad at all. A lot of games, but that's my takeaway from that. Dak looked great as well.
Gotcha. Anyone, Mike? Do you have any thoughts on this? Did we touch on it last? I'm trying to remember if we covered it because it was Thursday.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we talked about how well the Cowboys played.
Yeah, we did. We did.
The Eagles are good, and Jalen Hurts looks like a completed project. He is what he's going to be, and that's good enough to win you Super Bowls. So he's a finished product.
Jim?
Yeah, we talked about how the Cowboys are now 5-17 straight up when they're installed as a dog.
Yeah.
So that kind of went by script. But they, in defense of the Cowboys, they did play well. And Izzy's right. I mean, when Prescott spit, he was probably 5-6 yards from him, and that's just something he was doing in the huddle. Carter should do 2 more games suspension. That's
Yeah, I agree.
inexcusable. As far as that big ass fine, Howie Roseman's going to pass around the hat around the locker room. That fine will get paid.
Yeah. Well, Jalen Hurts gets the win, continues on. Super Bowl defense.
There's nothing punitive about that, about getting kicked out of the game. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about this one. Panthers, Jags, Battle of the Cats. Jags win 26-10, Mike.
God, Bryce Young is awful. I mean, he had a pretty good game for him, but he's like Kyler. Look, let's look at this really realistically. Quarterbacks under 6 feet tall, only one has ever really been a great player, and that's this guy. Kyler Murray's not a great player. He's a good player, interesting player, unique player. Same thing with Bryce Young. Maybe someday Bryce Young's going to be that good. Hasn't had a lot of help, but I think you got to look at Russ as maybe one of a kind, to be able to play so well at that size. So I think if you're looking at quarterbacks under 6 feet tall in the future, I don't know. I think you got to maybe look at Bryce Young and go, yeah, maybe we don't want all those extra problems. Trevor Lawrence on the flip side didn't have a lot of yards, but I thought looked pretty solid back there. Didn't see much of the game. Jags were better. We all thought Jags were better. I think we all picked the Jaguars to win the game, except maybe Jim. Jim might have gone Panthers. But the Panthers' problems continue. And, it's just going to haunt you forever, Carolina. You break the bank, you trade up to number 1, and you take Bryce Young instead of C.J. Stroud. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Brant Tarkenton, I believe he was about 6 feet, 5'11", 6 feet, but I don't know.
He's under 6 foot.
Okay, well, I know Russ is 5'10". And,
Drew Brees
is 6 feet.
Brian Sipe. Ooh, that's a name.
I said good quarterbacks.
Doug Flutie.
I said good quarterbacks, Brian.
Hey, that's an MVP winner.
Doug Flutie, good one.
Doug Flutie,
exactly.
Again,
Doug Flutie, the original.
Flutie is a gadget player. He was a gadget. He did a few things occasionally here and there, made some spectacular plays, but come on. He was not a consistent.
Yeah.
Boston College.
Boston.
Yeah.
Is he?
But
I think I'll say it this way. Your life's going to be easier for the most part if you pick guys that are 6'1" or above as a quarterback.
Yeah, I can't agree 100%. That's why I was so high on Justin Herbert coming out of college. I mean, huge frame. If they're a good passer at such a huge frame, they'll be good in the league, unlike Anthony Richardson. Yeah. But Bryce Young, he's smaller, but if you're going to draft a guy that's that small, he has to have some physical upside to him. He's got to be somewhat like Kyler Murray to be able to run the ball at least. But yeah, I mean, I didn't watch a lot of the game, but Bryce 18 for 35, 20 QBR, one touchdown, 2 interceptions. I mean, just a bad game, especially against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It just shows that they're at the same place they were last year at the beginning of the year. It's pretty bad. Chuba Hubbard played decent. I mean, Bryce Young 5 carries for 40 yards. I mean, 22 of those yards were on 1 carry. McMillan though, he had a pretty great game. He 5 catches, 68. I mean, that didn't look that bad. But Jacksonville, 26 points. I mean, that's good. Trevor Lawrence, he looked okay. Etienne, he looks back to his rookie self. 16 carries, 140 yards. Tank Bigsby gets traded, so fantasy owners they'll be happy to hear that news. And receiving wise, they didn't put Brian Thomas out there a lot. 7 targets, 1 catch for 11 yards. No idea what happened there, but Travis Hunter, before the game, there was a report that said he'd be out there 100% of snaps and partially for some defensive plays, and he had a decent game. Yeah, besides that, the Panthers are going to I thought they were going to do a little bit better this year, but if you're having games like that against the Jaguars, it's a bottom 5 team in the league.
Mm-hmm. Jim, what surprised you here?
Nothing really surprised me about this game. Panthers are now 2-15-1 straight up on the road.
That's like a Browns stat to me.
By the way, Grok says Fran Tarkenton was 6 feet tall.
All right, so Fran Tarkenton was 6 feet. They're asking, Uncle Ted here is saying, how tall is Drew? Drew Brees is 6 foot. Baker is 6'1".
Yeah.
Yeah, we're measuring everybody like it's a dating.
There, Jim.
Yes, go ahead.
Go, Jim. Go.
Do you have any more on this, Jim?
Oh, that's all I got.
Yeah, all I was going to add on this one was just, I have Travis Etienne. We drafted him as a backup, and now he put up 143 yards. He's crushing. He looks back to regular form, so much so that they traded Tank Bigsby, their backup, away. Also, they have that Bashal Tootin guy, so maybe they're just trying to get youthful at that position, but I have Tank Bigsby in another league, so I'm glad he's going to the Eagles. He's going to get some chances, and just sitting there behind Saquon, who does have an injury history, knock on wood. That's a good move for both teams, probably. But Etienne, 143 yards on the day. See if they can keep that going. A little bit of positivity there. All right, Titans, Broncos. Broncos get the win here, but man, this thing was close, Mike. I don't know if I thought this was going to be that close.
We discussed a little bit earlier. Cam Ward played a little bit better than expected, only 112 yards, and no touchdowns, but made some plays when he had to, kept them competitive. That game, Broncos were behind in that game. Again, I think this just illustrates how smart the Vegas guys really are, because this was a game that just, if you looked at that big number and took that big number, you almost got it. It was 8.5, wasn't it, Jim?
It opened at 8. If you took the Broncos early, you got your money back.
Yeah. So
but, if you took them later in the week and you bet the number and took the Broncos, you lost your money.
But that game was,
because you got 8 by a half a point.
That game was much closer than anybody thought, and it just shows how unpredictable Week 1 is. Just unpredictable, because I think they play that game 5 weeks from now. I think Denver's going to win pretty easy.
Yeah.
Hey, Izzy, hit it. Go, Iz.
Yeah, I got you. Cam Ward, in my opinion, he looked pretty good. I don't want to say really good, but he looked pretty good. A lot of his passes were very accurate towards the end of the game, and his receivers just couldn't come up with the ball. I mean, like, he placed them where the corner couldn't make a play, and the receiver could make a play, and the receivers didn't make a play. So, but there's something with these new quarterbacks and just holding the ball just a little bit too long. Him, Caleb Williams, and guys like that, I kind of don't understand why they do it. But he had like I say 3-4 plays where that happened. But besides that, he looked pretty good. I expected to be a little bit more better offensive game from the Denver Broncos. But I mean, Week 1 is a lot of weird stuff that happens. Bo Nix could have had a way better game. 2 interceptions and a fumble. That's 3 turnovers the Tennessee Titans could have capitalized on, but I mean, they still come up with losing. R.J. Harvey looked pretty good. Their rookie running back. Cortland Sutton looked great. I just feel like the Broncos could have done more, and the Tennessee Titans they look better than expected, especially against Broncos. I'll put it that way.
Right, Jim.
Yeah, I agree with Izzy about the Titans. I mean, I think I said last week I picked the Titans to win the South. I don't expect a lot from the Jaguars this year. Quarterbacks drafted number 1. We talked about that last week. Are now 3-14 against the spread. You know, if you bet them late in the week and got that half point, you know, the Titans went ahead and covered. If you didn't, you know, it tied the spread, so it's 2-14-1. Quarterbacks drafted number 1 are now 5-16-1 straight up the first game of the season. And overall, rookie quarterbacks are 16-43 straight up in week 1. So don't expect a lot from rookie quarterbacks the first couple of weeks of the season, but I do agree with Mr. Robinson here. The Titans are going to get better as the weeks go. And Cam Ward did look good, and I think Denver was a little underwhelming. And again, they played at altitude.
That's true. That makes a difference.
You know, what's the altitude in Nashville? What is it? Like 700 feet?
Yeah, minus.
You know, they're going from 700 feet, you know, to
yeah.
5,280 feet. Yeah. There's a reason why they call it Mile High Stadium.
The official average elevation for the city of Nashville is approximately 550 feet.
Yeah, so everybody sitting on the sidelines, you know, they're playing at Mile High, you know, they all look like Larry McTunsell, you know, they all got gas masks on, sitting on the bench, you know, gasping.
Nice reference. That's a good one there. If you were playing fantasy, J.K. Dobbins punched it in on the ground for Denver. R.J. Harvey, the promising rookie, 6 carries, 70 yards on the day. And the lone touchdown in the air went to Cortland Sutton, who had 6 receptions for 61 yards. Not a lot of touchdowns at all for Tennessee Titans. All right. Looking at the Lions and Packers, I got to say I was a little surprised here. Mike, the Packers kind of were in control of this the whole time. It was never really in doubt, in my opinion.
No, Packers kicked their ass. It was a comprehensive beatdown, and I do think the Lions missed their coordinators, offensive coordinators, although Dan Campbell didn't do that well on Monday, but you know, they missed their coordinators, and they just got beat fair and square. Nothing you can say about it. You just got to regroup, come back, and try to win week 2, because your chances of going to the playoffs, if you start 0-2, are less than 20%. Your chances of going to the Super Bowl are less than 5%. So if the Lions have any hopes going, any hopes at all, they got to go. They got to go for it next week. So.
Good point that Engram also got hurt. Yeah, a lot of tight ends. Engram got hurt. Kittle got hurt. Bowers got hurt. A lot of tight ends going down early in this season. Kind of strange. Izzy, you called it. You were saying that they were going to really miss their coordinators. I said,
Yeah.
You were right.
Yeah, I did say that. Yeah. I mean, everybody who was on that coaching staff last year, they lost week 1. Aaron Glenn, the coach for the Bears, and Dan Campbell, they lost. But yeah, Jared Goff, 31 for 39, not that bad, but he did have an interception. But yeah, it might not look like it, but it was a blowout. Green Bay, they just pranced. That defense is really good, really, really good. They stopped the run game. They limited Jared Goff to as much as they could. The offense, well, like I said, the biggest problem with the Packers is going to be the receivers. Nobody had more than 3 catches on the team. Jaden Reed had 3 catches for 45 yards. Romeo Doubs, 2 catches for 68. Jordan Love's first 8 completions were to 8 different targets. And that's just a big how is that going to work out for him later on in the season without having that number one guy on the team? Josh Jacobs had an okay game. I wasn't expecting this to happen. I still thought the Lions were going to pull it through, but Green Bay, they came through. The defense looks great. So we just got to see what happens after week one. If this is going to stay consistent, can Dan Campbell come back without his coordinator? So I'll put it that way.
Jim.
Yeah, I think the story of this game, I don't think the Lions are that bad. I just think the Packers are better than expected. I think the Packers took a big step forward, and it's not so much acquiring a Dallas Cowboy player. I just think that they're a solid football team. The Lions are going to get better this week. I like them. They're hosting Chicago, and I think. Listening to a bunch of stories this week, I think Caleb Williams is going to be a semi-head case, and I think the Lions are going to get better. I mean, Campbell's 11-4 against the spread in September. He's a good September coach, and Jared Goff's 36-13 against the spread indoors, so they're going to handle the Bears. The Bears are 4-22 straight up on the road. So just taken away from the game that they played, the Packers, the Lions didn't lose the game. The Packers beat them. The Packers are a good football team. Mm-hmm. They're a good, solid team.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is that their quarterback, Jordan Love, I mean, he sat for a minute and then he got his chance, and a little bit uneven, but players can take a couple of years to settle in, especially at the quarterback position. And yeah, that team has improved. No, they don't have one clear-cut wide receiver number one, but when you're hitting all those different receivers, I don't know that it matters. I really don't know that it matters. Tucker Kraft, Jaden Reed with the receiving touchdowns on the day, and Josh Jacobs punching it in for the Packers. Isaac, how do you pronounce his name? Tesla? He had the lone receiving touchdown for Jared Goff, who also threw an interception. And so, yeah, look, the Packers made a huge statement, divisional game to start it off, and now the Lions are playing catch-up. Didn't have that really on my radar, having won 13 games last year, but like we've discussed, they had a lot of brain drain from that organization, losing some of their coaches the way that they have. All right, let's go to the Texans and the Rams. Low scoring, Mike. I know you're not a huge Rams fan.
Kind of a surprising game for me. I thought the Texans would go in there and beat them up a little bit. Didn't happen. Sean McVay is probably the best coach in the NFL and came up with a plan to keep his team going. His offenses are so innovative, and Stafford can deliver the ball. They played well enough to win. They have some good players on defense. They beat a team that I think is tough and good, and they had a great defensive game plan to contain C.J. Stroud. So what can you say? Rams win at home and look good doing it against a really what I think is a really good football team, a playoff team.
Playoff? Yeah, I mean, you gotta
Playoffs.
we gotta get that video queued up again. Izzy, this is your backyard, Los Angeles. I know you're the Cowboy fan, but you got the Rams and the Chargers. What did you take away?
I was expecting it. I had the Rams winning from last week. People were kind of questionable about Matthew Stafford and his back and all that situation, but he's played through like 1,000,001 injuries, so it really shouldn't have been that much of a thing. The defense of the Rams is great. That pass rush is nice, and the O-line is horrible for the Texans. I mean, they lose key guys, so it's a big thing of quarterback play is not going to be that good. I mean, C.J. Stroud could try as much as he can, but it's just not going to work out. Nick Chubb had an okay game, 13 carries for 60 yards. That's not bad. But yeah, Puka Nacua, he's great. I feel like that offense has a system for receivers that are good at route running to find a way to get them the ball no matter what, move them around the field. But yeah, the Rams are going to win the division. I have them winning the division. I said the Texans are going to take a step back this year. It's a really good win for the Rams.
Yeah,
Jim?
I mean,
Oh,
you
go
got
ahead.
to say they made the right move dumping Cooper Kupp, who only had one drop this week, and that was it, for Puka Nacua, because he's like what Cooper Kupp used to be 3 or 4 years ago. So
Yeah, they just replaced him. I mean, it's the same thing. It seems like a system for receivers under Sean McVay. So,
yep.
All right, Jim.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of statistical information on this game. The Texans, they're hosting Tampa Bay this week, so they're going to have Baker to contend with.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be a tough ask. They are a home favorite against the Bucks. I didn't play this game, but I had the Rams winning outright. It was a low scoring game. The over under on this was 43.5.
Oh man.
So they were well under the number. They were well under the number.
Yeah. 9-14. Not a lot.
That's all I have on.
Not a lot of action. Matthew Stafford, 1 touchdown in the air. That went to Davis Allen, and the lone rushing touchdown was Kyron Williams, 1 touchdown on 18 carries and 66 yards on the day. I want to say kudos to Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb has had some brutal injuries over the past couple of years, and at Georgia for that matter. But look, he had a respectable game, 13 carries, 60 yards, 4.6 average. Just very happy to see that man continuing his career. Such a big fan, such a big part of the Cleveland Browns for so many years. But yeah, they seem to be behind the 8 ball a little bit. They haven't looked the same in about a year and a half. I'm not entirely certain what changed. CJ started off really good there. Maybe it was the injury to some of their receivers, the I don't know, maybe just having a connection with the receivers being on the right page, but I don't know. CJ's definitely taken a step back. I'm not writing him off, but man, they're having a tough go of things right now. Let's talk about it. Good, Izzy.
In my opinion, CJ, he tried as hard as he could with that offense, but yeah, that's about it.
He didn't have much to work with. You're saying. Well, we're going to talk about disappointed. How about waking up in Baltimore today? Baltimore Ravens lose this game. I mean, they were up by, 18 with 5.5 left or something like that. And my God, they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah. Bills come roaring back, Mike.
I just said at the top of the show, Lamar fucking Jackson and Josh fucking Allen are the 2 best players in the NFL. They went toe-to-toe. It was like Ollie Frazier. And it wasn't Ollie Frazier 1. It wasn't Ollie Frazier 2. It was Ollie Frazier 3, the thrill in Manila, where they just pounded each other back and forth, wide open, almost no defense. Both teams looked really great at times, really awful at times. Defensively, Derrick Henry, fantastic player, fumbled the ball at the worst possible time. Sometimes happens. Look, those 2 guys are the MVPs of this league. I don't think there's any question about it. And it was 2 Goliaths. It was 2 giants, 2 future legends just punching each other in the middle of the ring. And Josh Allen pulled it out. And that just shows you what you have to have in this league to win a Super Bowl. And if you don't have a guy like one of those 2 guys, even 95% of them, you ain't got no chance of winning the big games, because those guys just they're made of steel and they're fantastic. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, so thrilled. They're all in the AFC blocking the Browns. Not like we're competitive at the moment, but either way, it's not thrilling to have them locked in as yearly stalwarts on top of Patrick Mahomes, on top of Justin Herbert, on top of, just so stacked at quarterback in the AFC. Izzy, this game was the game of the year. Yeah. Obviously, it's only 1 week in, but it's going to be tough to find a game that's going to have more drama and intrigue and just energy to it besides this one.
Yeah, I really didn't watch the game. I was keeping up on my phone, though. I was keeping up a lot. I did say the Ravens were going to drop at least 40 points.
You were right on that.
The Bills, they came back, and oh my gosh, 14 for 19. The fact that Lamar only had to throw 19 passes and get 40 points is pretty astonishing. But yeah, Derrick Henry, it seems like he's never going to lose a step. He seems to be the quarterback of a running back. I don't know what I was saying there, but man, did they choke horribly. But yeah, I was kind of skeptical to start off with Josh Allen because I was like, who's he throwing to? But I still had it in the back of my mind. No matter what, Josh Allen is going to make a play. He's going to do what he needs to do for the offense to come through. But yeah, Derrick Henry, a late fumble that kind of cost him the game, but amazing game. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are going to be neck and neck for MVP once again this year. I feel like Justin Herbert's going to be in that conversation as well. But it's just an awesome game. That's all I could really say.
Yeah, it was stunning. I was talking to my dad, and the conversation was like, "Yeah, we turned it off." I'm like, "You turned it off?" They're like, "Yeah, I don't know how it. I don't know it." I go, "You don't know what happened?" And Josh Allen said something similar to the fans. There were a lot of fans that left the stadium early, and it's like, don't do that. Don't leave a game early, Jim. But I mean, hopefully people took the over on this one. 81 points scored in this barn burner.
Oh yeah. I mean, over under. I mean, that went way over.
Yeah.
But the takeaway of this game is that the Vegas guys installed the Bills as a 1.5 favorite at the beginning of the week, and the line went ahead and moved all the way to 1.5 Baltimore. I mean, there was a 3-point swing just in this game. I mean, it just tells you that there was a lot of money coming in on one side, and the big takeaway now is Buffalo is 11-0 at home. The last 11 games at home, they've never lost. The last 11 games. Lamar had a good game. I mean, he was 14 for 19. He had 279 yards of offense and 3 touchdowns. And it was just all Buffalo in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mike and I were, we were sitting at BJ's, drinking beer, watching the game, and we left in the fourth quarter, and I got a text from Mike, and he just said he just texted me and said Josh Allen's incredible. So 11-0 at home. How do you?
Yeah, isn't it their last year at that stadium?
How do you explain a 3-point swing from going Bills 1.5 to Ravens 1.5? Was there public money coming in, or was it wise guy money coming in? Somebody walked in with a suitcase full of money, and changed the point spread. That happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they knew something or not. Izzy, you were starting to say?
Yeah, I said, isn't it the Bills' last season? At that
Highmark
stadium
Stadium. A former client of mine in a
they're
different
getting
life.
used to it.
Highmark Stadium. This will be the last year there. Indeed. I mean, wouldn't it be great for the Bills to get their first Super Bowl championship in the last year of that stadium? That would be kind of cool.
Oh man, that'd be
Where's
awesome.
the new stadium? Is
the
new stadium in Orchard Park?
I don't believe so.
I don't know. I know it's an open stadium though. It's not
the other side of the parking lot, same area.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
As long as it's not in Toronto.
Yeah, they were trying to. I feel like they were really trying to move him up to Toronto. That's for sure. And the Jaguars over to London. But if you were keeping track on the day for fantasy, James Cook had a rushing touchdown. Josh Allen put 2 in on the ground. In the air, Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid caught reception passes for the Bills. Hey, how about that DeAndre Hopkins reception?
Oh man,
that one-hander.
That's great.
Oh, was that a nice grab? You forgot how good DeAndre Hopkins is. He caught a touchdown. So did Zay Flowers. And the 3 rushing touchdowns were 1 for Lamar Jackson and 2 for Derrick Henry.
And can I add on there? Josh Allen won a lot of people their fantasy games. I was on Twitter and TikTok, and man, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I had a 1% chance of winning," and Josh Allen just won the game.
I know.
So,
it's like I know you run into a buzzsaw in fantasy sometimes. Marion saying Josh Allen was my opponent's quarterback, and they kicked my butt in my first ever fantasy game. Well, welcome to fantasy. You're going to get your butt kicked a million times in a million stupid ways. That's how the game is played. Final game of the week. Vikings edge this one out, scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter, coming roaring back against the Bears. taking this one down by 3 points. Mike Bara sipping on a, what does Mike have? Is that a Manhattan? Is that
some water? No, but I do need to drink after that last week betting.
Yeah, fair enough.
Nah, I got to say I was wrong about J.J. McCarthy. He played very well in the second half. He looked like, in the first half, I looked like a genius because Caleb Williams is doing what I thought he was going to do. The Bears were moving the ball. They looked very efficient. They looked better coached. And then in the second half, they became the Bears again, and they were unable to really stop them. And I think it's time to acknowledge, what's his name? McConnell? Kevin McConnell? Is that the coach of the Vikings?
Mike McConnell. I think Kevin McConnell, yeah.
Kevin McConnell or something. This guy's a really good football coach. Like I said earlier,
he's been there from 22 to 25. It's his third year. It looks like
he's really, really good at coaching football, especially offensively. And you got to look at Justin Jefferson's numbers. And once again, for all the people ripping me on Justin Jefferson, he had no catches after about 12 minutes to go in the game. Just gonna say it again. He disappeared at the end, but J.J. McCarthy, looked like a very well-coached young football player, and their offense looked like a very well-coached offense. And again, that's the kind of coach my Seahawks have to go get, because I don't think Mike McDonald is it. I haven't seen the evidence. So, and so you just give credit to the Vikings for looking a lot better. Now, will McCarthy maintain that level throughout the year? Probably not. There's probably defenses that can challenge him more than the Bears did. But, that's the story. The story is McConnell as a coach, and McCarthy played very well as a quarterback. And so, let's see how it all goes out long term, but looked better than I expected.
Well, I have Justin Jefferson in my Dynasty League, just to make a stat correction. He did score his lone touchdown with 12:13 left in the fourth
12 minutes to play. For me, it's the last 5 minutes. I really can't recall him really making a big play in a big moment to win a big game in the last 5 minutes. And it's funny because somebody was ripping on me. Oh, you're a Seahawks fan. Show me one time Steve Largent did it. And it took me like literally 5 seconds to find the clip. In fact, there's a whole reel of all the times he caught the game-winning touchdown. So this is a criticism of Justin Jefferson, but I don't criticize him for the first 3.5 quarters. He's great at putting up the numbers. So for fantasy guys, he's great. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if I was on the 2-yard line in the Super Bowl with 26 seconds to play and I had Marshawn Lynch in the background and Russell was the quarterback. I'm not sure I'd throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, because I kind of think the same thing would happen as it did in Arizona when they tried to throw the ball to whoever the hell the gunner on our special teams was on that play. So but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, guys can evolve, but this guy McConnell and is a real star as a head coach. I think that's the story for me.
Yeah, I would say because I have Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson in one of my Dynasty leagues. Somehow I drafted them back-to-back years, I think. But yeah, they both severely underperformed. I had a terrible week because they didn't do much. I mean, yeah, Justin 7 points. That one touchdown was okay, but 4 catches, 44 yards, not super impressive at all. Izzy.
By the way, Ricardo Lockett, the name came to me. Ricardo Lockett was the target on the Super Bowl 49 game-losing interception.
Oh my
God.
That's brilliant play calling. You know what we're gonna do?
That's horrible.
We're gonna try to win the Super Bowl by throwing the ball to our number 6 wide receiver, who's actually the gunner on our special teams. That's how you lose the Super Bowl. And
nobody would see it coming. Nobody would see it coming.
Anyway, that's
I watched a lot of this game. I mean, Caleb Williams looked great in the beginning, the first quarter of the game, but after that, oh man, I have no idea what happened with Caleb. He looked like Caleb. He looks better than last year. But JJ McCarthy, rough start. It's like they switched roles. Like first half was Caleb, second half was JJ McCarthy. And JJ,
some of that, by the way, is coaching, making adjustments at halftime, reviewing the tape, and coming up with a new strategy on the fly. That's coaching. That's what good coaches do.
Yeah, and JJ McCarthy, 13 for 20. 143, 2 touchdowns and interception, also 1 rushing touchdown off a QB option. I mean, like the coach, Mike McConnell, or whatever his name is, he looked, Kevin. Kevin McConnell. He looked
Kevin O'Connell, yes.
O'Connell. He looked great. JJ McCarthy, I mean, as long as he's surrounded by that coach and that offense, the sky's the limit for him. As much as for the Bears, completely winnable game. You could say some questionable calls towards the end of the game, but besides that, it seems like the Bears are going to be what they were last year. They run with Zoom looks better. I mean, they're targeting him a lot more, but yeah, the Vikings, like I said, they're probably going to win the division next to the Lions. So great game.
Huge week for seeding that they were able to pull this one out in Minnesota, and that the Lions went down. I mean, every game matters. Every half point, every win or every loss, and every combination of your nearest like it doesn't feel like it matters, but when you get to week 14, 15, like it just you look back at these opportunities you could have had. Jim, what did you take away from this one? This 3-point victory by the Vikings, roaring back, come from behind win.
Yeah, I think Kevin McConnell is a hell of a coach.
O'Connell,
I think
yeah.
he's a good to great coach. I think he comes from the Sean McVay tree, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, Cowherd calls him the tall Sean McVay.
Yeah.
But we talked about last week how McCarthy, we installed McCarthy as a rookie quarterback because I don't think he took a snap all year last year. So, you know, he was essentially a rookie quarterback, and he increased that statistic, you know, about rookie quarterbacks starting in week 1. Rookie quarterbacks are now 17, 42, and 1 straight up. So he bumped that from 16 to 17. You know, the Vikings, you know, they got the Falcons this week. I think, you know, if they got the Falcons at home, I think they handle the Falcons. And the Bears, the Bears are the Bears. The Bears are going to go 0-2.
Yeah.
And I just think that, you know, the Bears did not look good. I thought the Vikings outplayed them, and I think most of us, you know, last week were on the Vikings, you know, to win the game straight up.
Yeah, I did not see this one coming. Yes, O'Connell did do stints of coaching under Jay Gruden and Mike Pettin, but yes, he's widely considered part of Sean McVay's coaching tree. So, yeah, he was the Rams offensive coordinator under McVay from 2020 to 21. And, yeah, I mean, just good coaching matters when it comes down to it. It definitely matters.
Yes.
Right. Well, that is the wrap up of week 1. Mr. Mike, do you have your picks on screen?
I do, but I'm looking. Can you? I thought you had posted Jim's information on Twitter. And now
did.
I can't find it. Can you double check?
Yeah,
that?
It should be at the New American Media. Let me grab. I got it right here.
Oh, not TNAM football though.
I had to log. I didn't log into that one and share it yet, but I will do that now while we're talking. We'll pull this up on the screen and then I'll share it for TNM football.
Okay. Yes, there is a TNM Toxically Masculine Tuesday tonight. Yeah, let's go do this. Let's have Jim give us his betting tips for this week, and let's do that.
Yes, let me just loudly say what you just mumbled, Mike. Yes, Mike is doing Toxically Masculine Tuesday tonight, Deborah Rooney. Yes, you got to do the Izzy. You got to do the flex. I don't know if you'll ever be one of the utility infielders on Toxically Masculine Tuesday, but yes, they will be doing that, Deborah Rooney, rather. Jim, all right, here we have it on the screen, the NFL Week 2 betting tips for today's episode of Strictly Football, brought to you by the Unhappy Hour on the New American Media. What you got?
Okay, Thursday night we got the Redskins at Green Bay. Green Bay opened at 3.5-point favorite, and they're still 3.5. The over/under is 48, so they expect this to be a high-scoring game. The Redskins are 14-7 against the spread. The Packers are 16-3 straight up the first 3 weeks of the season. The NFC North is 28-18-1 against the spread versus non-division opponents. Teams that play Detroit are 4-10 straight up and 1-13 against the spread afterwards. So that doesn't bode well for Green Bay. The Packers are 9-4 straight up when favored by 4 points or more. So I expect this number to go from 3.5 to 4. I think there's going to be more Packer money coming in just based on the week 1 performance. But again, as a suggestion, I don't take into account too much of what happens week 1 as far as betting goes. Right. You want to move on to the next game, or you want to talk about this game?
Whatever works.
No, let's just get through it all. Okay, I have to go in like 10 minutes, so let's get through it.
Okay. Next game I have is Cleveland at Baltimore. Baltimore opened at 11.5-point favorite, and they are still 11.5 here in Vegas. Browns are 17-30 against the spread after a loss. Dogs of 6 points or more are 46-39 against the spread. Lamar Jackson is 24-9 straight up. The Ravens are 94-30 straight up at home as a favorite. Jackson is 22-26 against the spread as a home favorite. And Jackson is 7-11 as a favorite of 7 points or more. So this kind of leads towards the Browns as far as, and this is a division game. I like the 11.5 and Cleveland.
And by the way, Quinshon Judkins is rumored to maybe play in this one, and he's a game-changing type running back that could drastically change what that ground and pound looks like.
Also, double-digit favorites are 15-2 straight up. So pick the Ravens to go ahead and win the game, but I picked the Browns to cover, if that makes sense.
It does. Okay.
Jaguars and Bengals. Jaguars are 4-9 straight up the first 2 weeks of the season. Joe Burrow is 25-8-1 against the spread versus teams that covered the week before. That's kind of a weird stat, but there it is. The Bengals are 2-11 straight up the first 2 weeks of the season. The next game, Giants and Cowboys. The Cowboys are a 5.5-point favorite. The Giants are 19-14 against the spread as a road dog. The Giants are 3-10 straight up the first 2 weeks of the season. Dak Prescott is 17-3 versus the NFC East, straight up. Prescott is 30-12 against the spread versus the NFC East. The Cowboys, this is a good stat. Mr. Robinson will like this. The Cowboys are 14-1 straight up versus the Giants. The Cowboys are 18-8 straight up at home. The Cowboys are 16-10 against the spread as a home favorite. And if this game goes to 6 points from 5.5, Prescott is 31-14 against the spread if this game goes to 6.
Wow.
All right.
The Bears and Lions game. The Lions opened at 4.5. They have been bet up to 5.5 today. The Bears are 12-32 straight up. The Bears are 4-22 straight up on the road. The Lions are 37-12 straight up. The Lions are 12-7 against the spread. They are 26-10 against the spread at home. And the Lions are 11-0 straight up after a loss. That's a big number.
They bounce back.
Jared Goff is 36-13 against the spread indoors.
Wow.
Dan Campbell is 11-4 against the spread in September. So all the stats here lean towards the Lions covering and winning the game straight up. The Patriots and Dolphins game, the Dolphins are a 1.5 point favorite at home against the Patriots. Again, this is a division game. The Dolphins are 8-2 straight up versus the Patriots in the last 10 games. So I look for the Dolphins to bounce back, and this is what I was talking about earlier as far as don't take that Dolphin-Colt game too much to heart. The 49ers are a 4.5 point favorite in New Orleans. The 49ers are 4-2 straight up versus losing teams. Buffalo and the Jets, this is a division game. Buffalo is a 7 point favorite, road favorite against the Jets. The Bills are 13-8 against the spread. They are 8-2 straight up against the Jets. The Jets are 1-7 straight up versus teams with a winning record. The Jets are 3-10 straight up the first 2 weeks of the season. Moving to the Seahawks-Steelers game. The Steelers are a 2.5 point home favorite. Teams that played Santa Clara the week before are 16-30 straight up the week after. So based on this, the Seahawks will probably a 2-1 dog to lose the game against the Steelers. So this is technically the Seahawks could go 0-2 to start the season. The Rams are a 5.5 point favorite against the Titans. The Titans are 3-15 against the spread. If this game goes to 6, dogs of 6 points or more are 46-39 against the spread. Not too significant. I would lean towards the Rams in this game. Panthers at Cardinals. The Cardinals are a 6.5 point favorite at home. Panthers are 2-11 straight up the first 2 weeks of the season. Panthers are 2-15-1 straight up on the road. Kyler Murray is 3-13 straight up after a win. So this game is a coin toss if you're going to bet the money line. The Broncos are a 2.5 point favorite at Indianapolis. The Broncos are 6-22 straight up on the road. They are 17-24 against the spread, but they're 4-9 straight up the first 2 weeks of the season. Interesting stat here. Teams that won their first game of the season by 21 points or more are 12-21 against the spread the next week. So that stat would favor Denver, because the Colts won by more than 21 points, beating the Dolphins last week. Eagles at Chiefs. Chiefs are a 1.5 point favorite, which is probably the only game the Eagles are going to be a dog this year. The Eagles are 14-8 against the spread. The rest of the stats lean towards the Chiefs. Andy Reid is 26-5 straight up in September.
And by the way, if you've never been to a game at the Chiefs Stadium, it might be the loudest place on earth. Just saying, it makes a difference.
Second loudest, but yeah.
Yeah. Used to be the Kingdome, but since the Seahawks play outdoors now, the Chiefs are probably louder. Patrick Mahomes is 18-3 straight up in September. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are 21-3 straight up, and they're 15-1 straight up at home with an extra day of rest. So they played Thursday night last last week in Brazil. 15-1 straight up at home with an extra day of rest. Mahomes is 28-11 straight up as a favorite of 3 or fewer points or as an underdog. The Chiefs are 22-9-1 straight up when favored by less than 3 points. Patrick Mahomes is 20-4 straight up after a loss. Falcons at Vikings. Vikings are a 4.5-point favorite at home. The Falcons are 7-18 straight up on the road. The Falcons are 3-2 straight up and against the spread on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night. The NFC North is 28-18 against the spread versus non-division opponents. Next game, Buccaneers and Texans. Texans are a 2.5-point home favorite. The Texans are 6-3 straight up at home the last 9 games. And the last game. These two last games are both Monday Night Football games, by the way.
Yeah.
The last game, the San Diego Chargers are a 3-point favorite over the Raiders. The Chargers are 3-7 straight up versus teams with winning records. The Raiders are 10-7 against the spread versus their own division, the AFC West. But Geno Smith is 4-11-1 against the spread at home. That stat goes back to Seattle, so take that with a grain of salt. And those are all the spread numbers. The significant point spread change so far is the only big point spread change I can see right now is there's a lot of Detroit Lion money coming in against the Bears. The game opened at 4.5. It's now 5.5 this afternoon.
All right, Jim. Thank you for all that analytic data. Mike, you going to be betting this week?
I'm not. And I'm not going to bet because I was so tense that I did not enjoy watching the games.
Oh,
I think if I do bet, it's just going to be one game here or there. I'm going to be busy at the Alien event, Biomed Expo here in Vegas anyway. I don't think I'm going to make any bets, but I'm going to tell you what games I would bet if I was betting, just because it was too tense and I didn't enjoy my weekend of watching football because I was focused on am I going to win money or lose money? So probably not. All right, let's go back to week 1. 11-5, not bad. I would have thought I did better than that. I blew the Kansas City game. I blew the Atlanta game, which was an upset. I definitely blew the Seahawks game, Houston and Chicago. I feel pretty good still about all those picks, so wouldn't really surprise me if I had gone undefeated, but it didn't happen. So going to 2025 week 2. Okay, I guess I have to log back in again. Starting off with Dallas at Philadelphia. I know they're on the road. They're playing the Eagles. I gotta say, wait a minute.
You're still on week 1.
Why is that on
week 1?
All right, week 2. All right, Washington and Green Bay on Thursday.
That's a game to watch.
This is going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. For me, it's Jaden Daniels versus Jordan Love. I like Jaden Daniels. I think they pull the upset and win in Lambeau. Buffalo and New York, no question. Buffalo's the better team. They could have a little bit of a hangover, but the Jets, I think the Jets are going to play really well and be 0-2 and have nothing to show for it, which really sucks. Chicago at Detroit. Detroit needs to win. They got to bounce back. Again, if you go 0-2 to start the season, you're finished. So you're not really going to make the Super Bowl. So they got to win that game. Chicago will have played fairly well, but still be 0-2. Cleveland to Baltimore. Sorry to tell you, I think Baltimore, it's a must-win for them, and I think they come back to get to 1-1 against your Browns. Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Jacksonville's better, but they're not that great. I like Cincinnati in this game at home to go 2-0. Rams, Titans, taking the Rams on the road. They're just better than the Titans. They have the better quarterback. New England and Miami, the game nobody wants. I don't like New England. I didn't like them last week. I don't like Mike McDaniel, but I do think Tua and the Dolphins get something done this weekend. It's a temporary retrieve. Cowboys, Giants. I love my Russ. I don't think the Giants have enough ammo, enough arrows in the quiver. I think that the Cowboys go and get back to 1-1. Seattle at Pittsburgh. This is a game where I would take Pittsburgh and give the points if I was a betting man. I would definitely take that game and bet the Steelers. I think I see nothing that makes me think the Seahawks are going to be competitive this year, so I'm going to keep it until they impress me. I'm not going to bet them. 49ers at New Orleans. I think they go in. They're not that great. They didn't play that well last week, but they go in and they make the Saints 0-2. Carolina at Arizona. Got to favor Arizona again. Can't see Carolina pulling an upset there. Denver at Indianapolis. Wow. Denver looked poor last week. Indy looked good. Denver looked poor. Indy looked good. Denver looked poor. Indy looked good. I think Denver upsets them. They just
That's a misdirection.
Yeah. Philly at Kansas City. Okay, the Chiefs on the winning bye at home. I'm taking them. They're not going to fall. They're not going to fall to 0-2. Eagles are going to make it a game, but this is a revenge game for the Chiefs and for Andy Reid. I think that they pull it off with the extra preparation time. Falcons at Minnesota. I'm going to take an upset. Minnesota will probably win the game, but I'm going to say that the Falcons come in and sort of surprise them. Remember the old adage, win on Monday, lose on Sunday. I think the Vikings are going to be a little flat coming out. I think the Falcons with Penix is going to pull off something amazing. They're going to win the game. Tampa at Houston. Tampa looked a lot better than Houston last week. Therefore, I'm picking Houston home.
No.
Raiders, Chargers. Never underestimate how much Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll hate each other. They hate each other's fucking guts, okay? And in the last, Pete Carroll has had Jim Harbaugh's number. However, Jim Harbaugh has the better football team, and I think the Chargers, they played really well last week. I think they come in here to Allegiant Stadium just down the street and win the game. Those are my picks for next week. And 11-5, I'll take it. Maybe I should just money line bet all my picks. If I did that last week, I would have won a lot of money.
I mean, maybe that is the answer. All right, Mike, I know you got another show coming up. Did you want to bounce and do some show prep and get ready? I know you got some more on your plate.
Yeah, I do have to bounce, but I will be watching in the background. I got to do some show prep. But thank you guys, and I'll see you all next time.
Tell people about your event this weekend and how to follow you.
The Alien event, Biomet Expo. Hopefully Jim and Regina are going to be there. Las Vegas, Nevada, Alexis Park Resort, basically across the street on Harmon Avenue from the MGM Grand. It's going to be really cool and really fun. So be there.
Nice. All right, Mike, thank you again. To be continued. We will see you soon. His screen is off. Let's go to Ez'Ryel.
Hello.
Do you have your screen for your bets from last week? Game picker?
Yeah, I'm on it. Can you see it?
Yes, I didn't hear the beep on my side, but I will pull it up now. All right, so last week, you went 10-6.
6, yep.
Now that was not 11-5 like Mike, but it looks like you tied me at 10-6. So decent. All right, tell us what you like the screw ups on your picks. Just real quick, buzz through them.
Yeah, I mean, I say the games I lost on are just toss up game. Very close game. I mean, all these games are so close. Besides this one, but literally all these games are close. The ones that I lost. So I'm not that mad about it. It could have gone either way towards the end of the game. So,
by the way, I like how Jim was moving his camera over to the screen. That was kind of fun. That was like Inception, a screen within a screen within a screen. But all right, let's go.
This week, I got the Commanders. I mean, like I said, they're not going to stop anytime soon. Just a weird game, week 1. So the not the Broncos, the Lions. They had a weird game. Dan Campbell. So I feel like it is a little weird. So I'm gonna take the Commanders. Their defense is pretty good. Jets Buffalo. I'm gonna throw a wild card out there. I'm gonna take the Jets once again this week. I know Buffalo just had an insane game, but I don't know. I'm gonna just do that. Chicago, Detroit. Chicago, they're gonna do what Chicago does, and I'm gonna take the Lions. From right there, like Dan Campbell's like almost undefeated after a week 1, so they should win. Browns, Ravens. I got the Ravens after what happened last week. I feel like they should be able to win. Derrick Henry might get stopped because of that D-line, but that won't limit Lamar Jackson's passing game or rushing game. So Cincinnati, Jacksonville. Like you said, Mike said Jacksonville's okay, but I mean Cincinnati's better. Los Angeles, Tennessee. I'm gonna come back to that one. New England, Miami. I'm gonna take New England. I still don't see it with Miami. This game's weird. I don't like it at all. Giants, Cowboys. This is the Cowboys are gonna win 100%. Seattle Steelers. Aaron Rodgers will attack in the passing game. The young guys, especially what happened last week with Tariq Woolen, but I'm going to take the Seahawks again. 49ers, Saints. I'm still kind of going with what I got. Seahawks winning, 49ers losing. The 49ers are going to lose to the Saints, an upset. Panthers, Cardinals. I'm going to take the Cardinals. The Panthers are bad. Broncos, Colts. Yeah, the Colts had a great game last week. The Broncos had a bad game last week. So I'm going to take the Colts. The Broncos could bounce back, but Bo Nix has to figure out what he's doing. Philadelphia, Kansas City. I'm gonna take Philly. Actually, no, I'm gonna take Philly. Kansas City. They don't have any of the receivers.
You're all over the place. Which one? Settle on one.
Yeah. Falcons, Vikings. I got the Falcons beating the Vikings. JJ McCarthy's good, but I don't think he's gonna outshine Michael Penix. Bucks, Texans. I got the Bucks, and then Chargers, Raiders. I'm gonna take the Chargers for a lot of games this year. But back up to the Rams, Titans. This one, I feel like it's gonna be a toss-up game. I really want to bet on Cam Ward, but that D line is just too good on the Rams. I don't know how many plays Cam Ward's gonna make, so I'm gonna stick with the better team, the Rams. So these are my picks for week 2.
All right, good job, Izzy. Jim is up. Let's see his. Are you able to share your screen?
No, I'm on a Mac. I'm on a Mac with a camera here, so I can't go into. I've got it here. You see?
Yep,
there?
perfect. That works.
Yeah.
That? Do you have week 1? What was your score for week 1?
Week 1, I was 10-6.
Yeah, it looks like all 3 of us were 10-6.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Packers against the Redskins. I'll take the Packers to win at home. I think Buffalo comes in and wins the game against the Jets. Chicago goes 0-2 against Detroit. Detroit gets better and goes 1-1. I like the Ravens at home against the Browns. I don't look at them to cover the 11.5, but I do think that they win the game. Cincinnati, I got Cincinnati at home against the Jaguars. I'm going to pick the Titans to upset the Rams. I'll take Cam Ward.
Wow.
I like the Dolphins against the Patriots. The Dolphins are 8-2 straight up against the Patriots. I'll go ahead and take that. I like the Cowboys against the Giants. I will take the Steelers to beat my Seahawks. Seahawks go 0-2. I'll take Santa Clara against New Orleans. I don't think New Orleans has anything. I think they're the worst team in the league this year. I'll take Arizona against the Panthers. The Panthers are just a terrible road team. I'll take Indianapolis narrowly against the Broncos. I think that they win the game. Denver hasn't been a good road team the last 2 years. I'll take Kansas City to go ahead and win that game narrowly against the Eagles. I'll take Minnesota to win the game against the Falcons. I'll take Tampa Bay to go ahead and upset the Texans. I think they go ahead and go in, and I think Baker wins the game. And I will take San Diego to beat Oakland.
All right.
And those are my picks.
Well done, sir. Let me show you how I fared yesterday in week 1, sharing the screen with the NFL picker. Here we go. I was 10-6 on the week. I did pick Philadelphia correctly and Los Angeles to upset the Chiefs correctly. I picked Arizona. I picked Jacksonville. I picked Cleveland, and doggone it, that's one that got away. That shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it wasn't. Unfortunately, I picked New England, who lost to Vegas. I correctly picked Indianapolis, Washington, Tampa Bay, but I got screwed on that New York one. They had it all game, and they let it slip away in the fourth quarter. I correctly predicted San Francisco and Denver and Minnesota, but I lost on Houston, on Detroit, and on Baltimore. So moving into week 2 with our pick'em, I'm going to go with Green Bay at home. This is a great game. I'm excited to watch this game. It just feels like a bit of a changing of the guard. Like there's some. I like this game. I'm very excited to watch this. It's the 8:15 on Thursday. Buffalo, New York. Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to do something with the Jets because they played so well in game 1, but I'm going to go with Buffalo, and Buffalo could have a hangover. I mean, you don't get out of a win like that without having to take everything you have, literally. So, but I'm still going with the Bills in that one. Chicago at Detroit, I'm going Detroit. They're the better team. I'm going to go with an upset here because I am dumb. I'm picking the Cleveland Browns to beat Baltimore. I think our defense is what did you? Homer. Oh, of course. I know. I'm going to cost myself 16, 17 victories this year because I'm going to pick the Browns every time. But why not? Why not us? Why not now? Look, this is Joe Flacco's revenge game. We like revenge games. This is Joe Flacco going back to Baltimore. All right. He's very familiar in that stadium. Let's not sell that short. And also, like I said, Quinshon Judkins at running back might be coming back for the Cleveland Browns to play his first game. And he's a playmaker. He's a beast. He's like a better Kareem Hunt, as he said. Jacksonville, Cincinnati. I'm going Cincinnati. LA and Tennessee. I'm going LA. If it'll let me click it. New England, Miami. Bleh. I'm going to say New England. Travion Henderson, this will be his welcome to the league. He's going to score at least once, maybe twice. New York, Dallas. Come on. That's Dallas. Seattle, Pittsburgh. I'm going Seattle. San Francisco, New Orleans. Going San Francisco. Arizona, Carolina. Going Arizona. Denver, Indy. Ooh, jeez. At Indy. I'm going to pick the Broncos. I don't think they're as bad as that week 1 performance gave us. Philadelphia, Kansas City, rematch time. Guess what? I have Kansas City starting 0-2. Philadelphia is going to win this one. Atlanta at Minnesota. Minnesota gets this one at home. Go Skull. Tampa Bay, Houston. I mean, it's Tampa Bay until Houston can get their act together. It's going to be interesting watching Nick Chubb play Baker Mayfield, neither of them in a Browns jersey. Makes me sad because our championship window was supposed to include both of them and Myles Garrett and a few other players, and that window is come and gone. And Los Angeles, Vegas, I am going the Chargers to get the win for week 2, everybody. All right. Was there any story that we'd left off of today's program that we wanted to mention on our way out the door, or any quick thoughts on anything college football related or any other thing strictly football related that you could think of? To Ez'Ryel first. What say you?
No, not really. I'm just a little bit surprised about a lot of the week 1. I mean, it's week 1. You got to figure out what you're going to do this season. Your strengths and weaknesses, which you should kind of figure out during training camp, but until real competition, then that'll happen. But besides that, no, not really. Nothing surprising.
And I had this conversation with somebody in the Facebook group for the Unhappy Hour, and they're like, "Oh, Baker's in a trash division." I go, "Stop it. You don't know what the record is going to be for these teams. I know it's probable that Carolina, but every year there's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 teams that we think are going to be great that suck. The teams that we think are going to suck that are good or great. Injuries, Matt. Like, you kind of never know how it's going to shake out. That's my thought, at least. Jim.
Well, this will be good for you to know. I do not trust the Ravens on the money line.
All right.
I would not take the Ravens on the money line, even though they're giving 11.5. I would not take them straight up and put money on it. So I thought Cleveland played well last week.
We did.
I thought they did.
Good enough to win.
They played well enough to win, albeit a division game. They got back-to-back division games. As far as a betting angle, Dallas Cowboys on the money line this week is a very strong play. I don't like laying 5.5 in a division game. And the Lions on the money line this week. I see the Lions bouncing back, and I see the Bears going 0-2. There's just too many statistical references here that say Cowboys and Lions are both going to be winners this week.
All right. Well, yeah, other than what we just covered, I would just say it's great watching the Buckeyes, hunt. Of course, we played Grambling. It should be 70-0. But look, the Buckeyes are just an absolute behemoth college football program. It's nice that they got their big test out of the way early against number 1 Texas. However, I mean, Penn State is looming, sitting there at number 2. So we'll see how college football shakes out. And kind of start tracking after a couple of games, some Heisman stuff. But yeah, gentlemen, I'm happy football's back, and I'm happy you're both with us here. And Izzy missed the intro to the show, so I'll play it on the way out for everybody out there in the TNAM universe watching us on Strictly Football here as a division of the Unhappy Hour Sports Show on the New American Media. I'm signing out. I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Check out our intro, or our outro, as it were. Peace out. And go check out Mike Bara on his Toxically Masculine Tuesday show coming up at 9:00 Eastern, and go see him at the Alien thing this weekend. Here we go. Outro. Here we go. There we go.
Hi, this is Eric Metcalf, and you're watching Unhappy Hour.
New American Media is proud to present a division of the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, Strictly Football.
It's the Unhappy Hour.